I'm Father Roderick, and this is the Lego Slave I, the UCS Slave I, which stands for the Ultimate Collector Series. But if you're a fan of Lego, then of course you know that. I've literally just finished building this half an hour ago, and I figured I could give you some pointers, some of my experiences, so you know whether this is worth building or buying. And I've also streamed the entire process of building this over the past 7 days. It took me 7 days to build this, about 2 hours a day. So it is quite a massive build. All those episodes are also on my YouTube channel. Just look for the Lego playlist. But in case you don't want to sit through, 14 hours of banter and me failing at, this build and still somehow putting it all together, I think I'm going to just give you a very, very short summary of my impressions. First of all, this is a massive set. When I emptied the pieces on the table, because actually this is a rental set, it's quite a unique concept. This is especially these collector series are quite expensive, but I found a store in the Netherlands where I live where they rent you these sets, and you can rent them for about a week. The downside is they don't come, well, they come with the manual, which is about, 390? No, it's about 300 pages. But it doesn't come with the original box, nor does it come with these numbered bags that normally are very, very helpful when you're building a Lego set as big as this. Instead, it comes with as a huge box, and you just have the individual components. So that my first day was spent entirely into organizing these bricks into colors, various colors. And then I had to sort it even more because there, as you can tell, there's a lot of similar colors here, similar pieces. There's a lot of light gray, green, red. The red is actually the easiest because those are the bigger pieces. And then on the inside, which I will show you in a minute, you have a ton of structural pieces. So there's a lot of, it doesn't look like it, but there's a ton of technical Lego integrated in this build. And a lot of the technical Lego techniques are, for me, new. I've already quite a bit of experience in building these sets, these bigger sets, but this one was much more technical than I first expected it. And that all has to do with the shape of this craft. It has a lot of angles, a lot of curved surfaces, and this set, one of the advantages, or one of the joys of building this set is discovering how they pulled that off. Here in the foreground, you see the 3 minifigures that come with this set. You would expect Lego to give us a little bit more, since this is a big set. So I would have loved to see at least one more of these Cloud City guys. Of course, you've got Mr. Boba Fett himself, which actually distinguishes it, and I did not notice it until someone told me in the chat while I was building this. This is one of the few Boba Fett figurines with print on his arms. So I also have the carbonite chamber, which also comes with a cool Boba Fett, but he's just got plain gray arms. And then you have a very run-of-the-mill stormtrooper, nothing too special. Of course, Boba Fett can also be put inside the cockpit. If you do so, make sure you do it before you install the window, because once this is in place, it is kind of hard to open it. You can't really, there's no hinge or something like that. So I left him here in the foreground because I wanted to show you these figurines. So let me just tell you about my experiences. The first part of the build, the first 2 days, is very technical. You're just building ground structures, you're building the support structures, and there's not much fun in that because I built the big Hogwarts castle, and it was similar. You first do a lot of the boring stuff, but you know that the good stuff will come towards the end. So in a way, even though it's not every step is very interesting, it is absolutely essential that you do those well and you don't make mistakes. I've made several mistakes, and then I had to go back and disassemble it because everything fits very tightly together. The advantage of starting with the boring stuff is you have this to look forward to. And the final phase, I enjoyed the final 2 days of the build the most, because then you start to put everything together, and there are just these wow moments where you're building something and you have no idea what it is. You can't tell from the shape. And then in the very last step, you attach it, you click it into the rest of the build, and then you're like, whoa, I had no idea that was what I was building. There are a lot of very gratifying little surprises while building this. So let me show you what this looks like. First of all, this is huge. It is so much bigger and also bulkier than I thought this would be. I know the Slave I. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, in case you didn't know. And then so the Slave I is one of the iconic ships of the Star Wars saga, but I never realized how tall it was. It's not just tall in this way, but it's also, this is a huge bulky thing. And if you're just putting together the structures, like on the inside, for instance, there is Frozen Han in carbonite, and you're like, wow, I had no idea that this would rise up so much, but of course it needs to house that entire thing. Let me just show you the exterior, how beautiful this is. So I love the green, the two tints of green that are in there. The gray is just plain light gray, but it works really well. And then of course you've got the beautiful dark red, which is so iconic. And even though this is done with already slightly curved pieces, you still get that Lego vibe. Also, look at the perfect shape of the tail. This is a very hard thing to do in Lego. On the inside, there are a lot of technical tricks to enable you to do this shape, and also to have these panels attached to it. The end result is stunning in one word. What is also stunning is actually the underside of the ship, and here you see it. It is completely detailed. This is not something that you're going to put on display, but it's still there. They made sure that they gave it these blue engines, these laser engines, this big dish, and all sorts of tiny details that make it look very, like the underside of a spaceship. Of course, the other side is pretty symmetrical, although there are some cosmetic differences. You can see the occasional sticker here to just give it a little bit of a rough, as if the part of the paint came off. You have small details like that. There is also a mechanical thing on the inside that helps you swivel these guns. And there is a hidden trick here. You have a panel, let me see here, and on the other side as well. And you can open those panels. So let me show you what that does. So I'll just open this. You kind of have to pull it. And out comes a gun, or two guns actually. The same happens on the other side. You can pull this. You always have to be careful because it's on a stand. And you just pull it out and you see some kind of a rocket launcher and some other stuff. And when you push it in, it's seamless. Very, very, very cool. Of course, you have the landing gear. Now this is a ship that has to be able to lift off horizontally and then fly vertically. So these can turn. This is the landing position, and this is when it's flying. There are some flaps on the side that you can move a little bit. It's just there's a tiny bit of wiggle room. I'm not even sure if this is supposed to be part of a mechanical thing or it's just the way they connected these to the base of the ship. As I mentioned, the stand is pretty cool. It's the last thing you build, but it is extremely sturdy. You think, how can it hold such a heavy, big, bulky ship? Well, these two go into holes and it just fits it, which just works. Unbelievably well constructed, and also quite an eye-catching display, of course, for your build. On the inside, what you don't really get to see is the cockpit, and for that I'm just going to take the camera and I will bring you closer to the actual cockpit. It is quite detailed. It's kind of hard to show you. Here is the seat. There are some instrument panels, some guns. But what I can't show you right now is that actually the inside of the cockpit can swivel. It can actually, when this thing is flying vertically or horizontally, you can shift the position of the entire cockpit so that Boba Fett will always be looking forward, or whoever is flying this ship. Mostly Boba Fett, I hope, unless someone steals it from him or wins it in a game of sabacc or sabacc. Not sure. Also, inside of here you have Han Solo, and I still don't really know if we can see him, but I'm going to take this off the stand here, and hopefully I can do that without it falling apart. If so, this is going to be a very fun video. So there you go. It's just hinging on two tiny, tiny little pieces. Here is another thing. You think it's going to swivel, it is made to swivel, but I think it's just a way in which they hold this together. Well, let's go to the cargo hold. Because this is the way, of course, it is displayed. You see this in The Empire Strikes Back, and Boba Fett and his minions open this hatch, and this is where they insert the Han Solo frozen in carbonite. Now, I haven't tried this out yet because, as I mentioned, I've just finished building this, but I think you should be able to open this up. So I'm going to try to do that, see if it's possible. Yeah, something is moving. Oh, I pulled it out. Yep. So actually, here you go. I've just opened the cargo, so this door opens. And on the inside, and it came loose, so I have to pry it out, is the fourth figurine. And that, of course, is none other than our good friend Han Solo, frozen in carbonite and waiting for his loved ones to rescue him. So here we go. Almost got him out. Here we go. And there's a little surprise there too. So this is Han Solo frozen in carbonite. It's a mold that they have used in other play sets as well. The cool thing is, this is not just the thing that they, that hovers over the ground and they, bring into the cargo bay, but actually Han Solo is in there. And he's right there. His face is kind of smacked into the carbonite itself. You can take him out. So there's a little bit of extra play value in a sense that you can, do like a confrontation face-to-face with Boba Fett. And you can even maybe, take this out, and if you have some other figurines, you can play around with that and have Han Solo get out of that carbonite. But it's very cool that they didn't just give us this piece of carbonite, but that actually Han Solo is on the inside, so it's him for sure. It's a really, really great mold. It's one of my favorite Lego custom pieces. So that is about it. That's all there is to it. This is a super impressive set, as you can tell. I loved building this. It was not too difficult. You have to really take your time. You have to be very precise. There's nothing that is completely impossible. There were no moments where I felt that, they were using some tricks or... It's amazing how well this was thought out and how well this actual result looks like the ship that we know and love from Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. So hope that helped. In case you're still thinking about buying this set or building it, let me know if you've already built this Slave I and what your experiences were in the chat or in the comments. And I do this on a very regular basis. I build these sets, sometimes small sets, sometimes big sets. If you'd like to join the conversation, and we're there with a very cool community, very nice people, very relaxing, also some Lego experts and some Star Wars fans in there. So if you want to hang out with me for future builds, then make sure to hit that subscribe button, click the like button, leave a comment. It's all good. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and may the force be with you.